The LGBTQI bill is back, and we'll look at this briefly. And it is back because the president had said something, and some people are already beginning to ask whether he's backtracking on what he has said earlier. So President John Dramani Mahama has said that the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer LGBTQ bill cannot be a private member bill if its government is to consider signing it into law. He emphasized that the bill should be government-sponsored, not a private member's bill. The bill died with the 8th Parliament, but I think we need to have a conversation on that. But I think it should not be a private member's bill, but a government-sponsored one. The president made these remarks while responding to the Ghana Catholic Bishops' Conference, who had called on him to sign the bill into law. The bishops had also congratulated him on his decisive victory in the 2024 general elections. So Most Reverend Emmanuel Kofi Fiano, who is the Vice President of the Ghana Catholic Bishops' Conference, who led the delegation of the conference to pay a courtesy call on the president in Accra, said, "We already know your position on the issue of lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer LGBTQ bill, but we are hopeful that you will sign it into law." And the anti-LGBT bill has been a polarizing topic in Ghana, drawing both support and criticism domestically and internationally. The suggestion for government-sponsored signals a shift in strategy that could potentially influence how the bill is debated and perceived. Is that how you see it, Mr. Is that how you see? You think it's a shift of? I
don't see by what stretch of imagination anybody can come to the conclusion,
right,
that what the president says is that he's abandoning the LGBTQ bill.
Yeah,
he actually says that look, it has to
the government sponsored
from a private member's bill to a state-sponsored bill.
Yeah.
So how is that an abandonment?
Right.
It is certainly not.
Okay.
You understand? I'll be very honest with you.
Personally.
Sitting here now, I don't think that this is one of the most important issues that we should be cracking our heads over. Who is sleeping with who? What happens in people's bedrooms and so on? Is that the issue today? Is that the most important issue facing Ghanaians today? I don't think so.
It's at variance with our culture. So we have to fight.
I am not saying it is in tune with culture. I'm not saying it's at variance with culture and so on. But given the crisis we are in today,
you think it's not the most
I
important?
expect our leaders to focus attention on the more crucial issues.
Okay.
And stop wasting our time with all this
LGBTQ matter. All right.
Really, I think sometimes our leaders don't get it.
Okay.
Look, and I've said it repeatedly, this is a country which needs to spend 128% of its total national revenue on 3 line items: debt servicing, debt repayment, and public sector salaries and wages.
When you finish.
So if you have leaders who are confronted with this problem and they keep...
Well, but you can understand. I mean, the Catholic Bishops' Conference paid him a visit. They brought it up, and he had to respond. It wasn't as though he just said it out of nothing, And so the newspapers decided to capture that as an angle to the story. So just to put it in context, Haruna.
Moro,
Do you also think that the president is backtracking, is shifting, or it's in line? If it stays sponsored, I'll sign.
The stand of His Excellency the President was very clear when he met the international media. He spoke on his position on the LGBTQ++ law. He indicated that he was asked if he's the president, will he sign? He said no. You will refer the bill back to Parliament for some other works to be done.
Fine-tuning, that's the
fine-tuned
yes.
Before it gets to him. He collaborated same when he met the Catholic bishops, saying that we don't necessarily need a law to be passed with that respect. We just have to introduce family values in terms of in our schools and teaching them. That tells you that he's not interested in the signing of the LGBTQ. What he said, that it must not come through private member bill, is very clear. It is not something new. Who were the sponsors of the bill? There were persons who were in the minority. Today they are in the majority. If they are bringing the bill, it has to pass through the government structure to be able to come to Parliament. And obviously, he will say they should bring it or they should pass it through that particular procedure. But we know clearly that he doesn't need it. What he needs is family values. which is against the NDC's preaching when they were in opposition and what the Ghanaian citizens had listened to them. So this is what Ghanaians should be able to judge and to understand that it is not just President Akufo-Addo, but it is the presidents across or in Ghana. This is the understanding. We must all have a collective understanding of the state, because in the discussions, President Mahama is talking about looking at it holistically. But when it came as a private member bill, it was something that came from the opposition without government intervention and even addition or subtraction to ensure that something is being done.
Yeah.
It is only when it gets to Parliament that Parliament looks at the various clauses, take away and add something. So, clear, if government is bringing it, it can be fine-tuned. And for me, whether it is passed or it is not passed, my religion and my culture is against it. And never, never in my mind, never in my life should it come across me to practice such an activity. I would not and would never.
Let me
subscribe to that.
Yes.
I mean, what I really distaste is all these Western ambassadors, strutting around and telling us what to do and warning our leaders and so on.
Yeah.
We should not tolerate that. In much the same way that we cannot go to Washington and be telling Trump what to do and Biden what to do and so on, we do not expect the ambassadors to come here and be lecturing our leaders as to what to do.
Right.
I get very angry when I see these Western ambassadors playing God, around here.
Yeah.
So that's a problem that I have with all this debate about LGBT and so on and so forth.
Okay.
But, Massa, I don't think that this private members bill was sponsored by NDC members alone.
Fact.
There were actually MPP members who supported this.
Yes. In fact, the former deputy education minister.
Exactly. Who
Reverend,
supported it very, very keenly.
Yeah.
So you have people from both sides, sponsoring this bill, and that's a fact. Okay. I don't think that I see any indications that President Mahama is against the signing of the bill or the passage of the bill. What he's saying is that if the bill has to go to Parliament, he's saying that, look, the 8th Parliament, its life is ended. And therefore, the process has to be started again. He wants to see it started as a state-sponsored bill rather than a private member's bill. That's not an indication of abandoning the position that had been taken earlier. You understand?
Okay.
Now, you don't know what my religion is. Huh? You don't know what my religion is. Okay? And so
This will be good to tell us for the first time. We don't know.
why do I have to tell you what my religion is?
I am Muslim. I don't know where you are.
And why should I tell you mine? It's a private matter. It's completely private. You understand?
Oh, Gwezi.
But what I'm saying is that today, when I look at Ghana, I don't think that we can afford the luxury of spending all our resources and time and so on debating this issue.
I agree with you.
It's a non-issue.
I agree with you.